Today we're going to be exploring Havana, Cuba. So let's get started. Introduction. So history of Cuba. So Cuba, once home to the Taino people, interesting, was colonized by Spain in 1492 and became a major sugar producer using enslaved labor. It gained independence in 1902, but remained under US influence. And in 1959, Fidel Castro led a communist revolution, aligning Cuba with the Soviet Union and causing tensions with the US. That kind of goes back to what Suman and I were just talking about. So today it remains a socialist state with limited reforms. So geography and climate. So Cuba is the largest island in the Caribbean, located where the Gulf of Mexico is, in the Atlantic Ocean and Caribbean Sea. It has a long, narrow shape with mountains in the southeast, flat plains in the central and western regions, and over 3,000 small islands and cays. So you guys can see here on the left, this is a picture of Cuba on the map. So you guys can kind of take a look at the shape of it. It's definitely a longer country. And that's actually interesting. So it actually has 3,000 small islands. I was not aware of that, but that's pretty cool. You can kind of see actually, if you look at the top of Cuba, you can see those little islands kind of scattered over there, which is pretty cool. So the climate is tropical with a dry season from November to April and a rainy season from May to October. That's probably why a lot of people actually choose to visit Cuba, throughout November to April, because it's the drier season. Cuba is also prone to hurricanes, especially between August to October. Attractions. Old Havana. This is somewhere I've actually been and it's beautiful. The card is really cool. Yeah, so this UNESCO World Heritage Site is a living museum of Spanish colonial architecture. Walk through narrow cobblestone streets lined with pastel-colored buildings, bustling plazas like Plaza Vieja and Plaza de Armas, and centuries-old churches. Street musicians, local vendors, and classic cars create a lively and timeless atmosphere. I think timeless is definitely a good word for it. Al Melesson. So stretching over 7 kilometers along the coast, this oceanfront boulevard is the soul of Havana. Locals gather here to fish, to play music, or simply to enjoy the sea breeze and dramatic sunsets. At night, it becomes a social hub full of laughter, romance, and life. El Capitalio. So this grand neoclassical structure, once home to the Cuban Congress, resembles the US Capitol, but it's slightly taller. So its majestic dome and marble halls now house the Cuban Academy of Sciences and are a striking symbol of Havana's architectural elegance. That definitely does look like the US Capitol for sure. It's very, very similar. Museum of Revolution. So housed in the former presidential palace, this museum displays artifacts from Cuba's revolutionary struggle, including weapons, photographs, and personal belongings of Fidel Castro and Che Guevara. The bullet holes in the walls and the adjacent Granma Memorial, which is a glass enclosure with a yacht that brought revolutionaries to Cuba, add a historical depth. So that's pretty cool. That's beautiful, actually. And you can see it has a tank right in front of it, which is kind of cool. Cuisines. This is my favorite part of the presentation. I always love learning about different cuisines and different foods that they eat in different countries. So the first one is ropa vieja. So that's Cuba's national dish. It's made of shredded beef stewed in a tomato sauce with peppers, onions, and spices, and it's usually served over rice and beans. And then we have moros y cristianos. So it's a classical dish of black beans and white rice cooked together, symbolizing the Moors and the Christians. That seems a little plain. I don't know. Okay. We also have one called lechon asado, which is roasted pork, often marinated with garlic, sour orange juice, and spices called mojo, before being slow cooked, especially during celebrations. And then we have the famous Cuban sandwich. So a Cuban sandwich is a pressed sandwich made with roasted pork, ham, Swiss cheese, pickles, and mustard on Cuban bread. So a couple fun facts about Havana, Cuba. So Founded in 1519. I'm not sure what that's referring to, but I believe it means that Havana was founded in 1519. Old Havana is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's home to the world's longest cigar. So I'm sure you guys have heard Cuban cigars. They are known for that. They make the best cigars. So Havana is famous for 1950s American classic cars. It's the birthplace of the daiquiri and the mojito. Yum. I love mojitos and daiquiris. Ernest Hemingway lived and wrote in Havana. El Capitalio is taller than the US Capitol. We did touch on that beforehand. Another fun fact is that nightly 9 p.m. canon ceremony at La Cabana. So there's a canon ceremony that happens in Havana at 9 p.m., which is pretty interesting as well. And the last fun fact is that Havana Club rum is produced in Havana. So as where the name comes from.